So today we are going to talk about one of the common topics that we see on social media. So a lot of times we hear of stories about a couple like a Filipina and an American or other other foreigner where they are having a problem because they say that their wife constantly have to send money to their parents. How can you avoid conflict in that situation? But first of all, let me just give you a background of the Filipino culture. So, some of the people from other culture think like they're adults, they should, make their own money and they shouldn't be taken care of. Like the Filipina has no responsibility to be sending money back to the Philippines and that. So, but see, that's not how our Filipino culture works. In our culture, we would do everything we can to help out. So that's just our culture. That's just how we do it. So today we will just share with you guys how me and my husband avoid that conflict. Like what we did and what we are doing so we don't have conflict about finances. Let's start
Basically,
beforehand we've been together for over 10 years, right? Yeah, we've been together for over 10 years. And before we got married, we've been like 6 years together, right?
Yeah.
And so we knew each other so much already. And we've talked about stuff already. Like we already have an understanding of each culture. And we already talk about the responsibilities that we have to take care of, right?
Yeah.
Though I feel like it's really not a responsibility for me to do because, they are also adults. But see, the Philippines is different from other countries. First and foremost, the Philippines has very rare opportunities. You can't find a lot of jobs there. And even if you do find a job, these are not high-paying jobs. Right?
Right.
Okay, so what did we do? Were you shocked at first? Like,
No, I wasn't shocked because I already knew.
But when you met me, I was already a breadwinner in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of shocking to see a woman be the breadwinner for a family, or a woman taking care of her entire family. So yeah, that was shocking to me.
Yeah.
But I did have a mindset of, these are adults, they need to chip in, they need to provide for themselves. However,
Now, when we talk about breadwinner during that time, guys, I'm talking about I was the one paying for my sister's college. I was the one paying for my brother's education. I was the one taking care of the entire family. What I mean is, I was the one, I was the one providing for food. I was the one providing shelter. I was the one providing for electricity, everything. So I was the provider when you met me.
yeah. All glory be to God. So I was shocked when I, saw that. And, I really had the mindset that, adults need to get out and work and, take care of themselves. That's just a mindset I have. But, as you get to meet the family and you see that the opportunities are not
That one.
in such abundance, you understand why some may not be working. But, you have to have these conversations on the front end. When you get with somebody and when you get past the dating stage and you decide to go into a relationship with them and you start to plan your future, finances is definitely a significant part of their planning. And family support is definitely a topic you have to discuss. So that way, as you get deeper into the relationship and you start getting on the path towards marriage, you won't have those obstacles or barriers in a relationship about her providing for her family or the fact she's sending her family money. If you know that's something that you don't respect or that's something you don't believe in, then you probably don't need to go forward in that relationship.
Yes, because they are going to
Because
have a
at
conflict.
the end of the day, she's gonna help her family.
Yeah.
You know, they really love their family, and you know, she can love you all day, but she's not gonna sit back and let her family suffer. So if you try to prevent her from helping her family, that could be detrimental to the relationship. And even if her love for you supersedes her desire to help her family, you still not gonna get the full her, because every day she's gonna be sad. She's not gonna be happy. She's gonna be stressed, and she's gonna be worried. So that's the portion of her that you'll be getting on a daily basis versus getting a happy her. So you all have to really discuss an amount that you think is significant. I mean, an amount that you think is suitable to send to help the family. Now, you know, you're not trying to put the family in luxury, but you want to make sure they do have the bare minimum, which is housing, food. You know, when there's a birthday, you know, they do like to buy cakes and go eat and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's really nothing, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, when you get into wants, I think that's when it could become a problem. You know, it's one thing to help with the needs, but the wants is different, you know, because what they want, things outside of their basic needs, then, you know, they got to get out there and get it in work or whatever odd job they need to get the things that they want. Also, there's still a time limit, because, you know, if your wife, Filipino wife, is taking care of multiple siblings that are adults, I mean, after a while, they're going to have to figure it out. You know, you're not going into your siblings, not going to go into their 30s and money still being sent over there. You know, that's not going to happen. Even though it's a time frame on that, you know, provide some support. But now that their parents, the mother, the father, of course, they're elderly, and it's not a lot of jobs out there for the youth. So what do you think? So it's definitely not going to be a lot of jobs for the elderly people.
Exactly.
So that's probably going to be a long-term project, a long-term support, but it's really not a lot. Our dollar go a long way over there. Yeah. So,
but let me also tell you about the culture in the Philippines. So in most families, this is how it goes. If you are the eldest, like your parents would do everything to send you to school, make you graduate to college, and when you already start working, they expect you to pay for your siblings' education. That's just what happens. Like, they expect you to help out to, you know, in sending your siblings to school.
You know, you just passed it down. They help the eldest. Okay, now you're working. You help the next one. Then the next one help the next one. But the problem is when those siblings, you know, they choose not to go to school.
Yes.
They just want to sit at home all day and, you know, be on TikTok and play games on their phone, and you still providing, you know. That's where the line comes in.
That's where it stops.
Yeah, that's where the line stops.
Probably whoever
And that's where
will
the
be the
line
breadwinner
will stop. Huh?
and whoever will be the breadwinner will just keep, you know, helping out until they are able to find themselves in.
Well, like I said, it has to be effort.
Yeah, it has to be an effort.
Because you have some people that there are some stories in the Philippines that people went from poverty to become millionaires.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, they went from living on the, living in poverty to becoming a multimillionaire owning businesses. So, opportunities are everywhere, whether it's in first world countries or third world
Yeah,
countries.
it is everywhere. It's just that
Opportunities are there,
the
but
opportunities are not just the same, right?
they're not the same. But you have to want it.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day.
Well, so what we did for us not to have conflict about that was, to talk with each other. So before we got married, we already had an agreement, right?
Yeah.
So before we even settle further, we already had an agreement, like what I'm gonna do, our plans, how much I'm gonna send, what am I going to provide for my family in the Philippines, because I was the breadwinner back then. And it doesn't mean that, I just have a husband, I will already forget him. So that's not how it works, and that's not what the family means to us.
Yes. So, at the end of the day, that conversation is very important when you meet a Filipino. You got to have that conversation. And don't make it just a general conversation. You need to be very specific. Hey, if you're going to help your family, how much are you going to send to help your family?
That's right.
Who are you going to help in the family? How long are you going to help your family? So, you need to be very intentional in that conversation because, an American man, you get with this young, beautiful Filipina and this, you just agreeing to everything.
But sometimes they don't agree.
I'm not on the front end, you just agreeing, and then when it's time to actually do it, obviously come to America, now you kind of change, and then you don't do the things that you told her you would do to help her family. Because at the end of the day, they love their family. They love their family. And they should love their family, but especially their parents and siblings or whatever.
Yes.
So just be very specific with that conversation and be very specific with the plan. Be intentional and purposeful with the plan, and make sure you put specific amounts and also timelines for it.
And also my advice to my fellow Filipinas, let's say not to rely on your husband to give you all this amount that you have to help for your family. I mean, you have to find a job. You have to work. Because that's not the responsibility of your husband to provide for your family. But if your husband is willing to and have extra cash, extra money, then that will be good. But if not, you have to find your job. You have to work. You have to earn money, like you can help your family out there with no conflict. Like what I'm saying is that I wouldn't want my husband to be providing or giving me money to provide for my family. No, I don't want that. That's why I was still in the Philippines. We already had an agreement, right? That I need to work. I gotta work. I can't just be home. Because not only because I have a career, but also because I have stuff I need to take care of. That's just the thing, right?
Yes.
Because, so that's it.
Well, you chose not to be at home because you still wanted to work and further your career.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
You didn't want to just be a housewife because you wanted to continue to grow in your career or whatever. So
I'm a housewife 24 hours. I am a mother 24 hours.
Yeah.
But I also have a career. Like,
I
want to have more value to the society where I live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like I say, just to sum it up, just have those conversations in the beginning stages of the relationship. Don't wait till you get too far into it. you know, once you all decide to
And don't wait
get
until
deeper
you are
into
married
dating,
already. That's the time that you're going to talk about it.
you
No,
know,
no,
you
no.
talk about it in the dating stages.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
right.
go ahead and have that conversation. So if it's something that you all can't agree upon, then you may have to just go your separate ways and get with somebody that
Move on.
move on and get with somebody that kind of supports your ideology when it comes to provide support for your family. But you have to have that conversation in the prenatal stages or the beginning stages of that relationship.
That's right, guys. So if you are new in our channel, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching our video. Bye.
Bye.